This is a quick tutorial on how Limbo can be used for a custom fabrication shop. So let's start out with the process where a customer comes in and starts requesting a specific job that he wants done. So first thing that the manager is going to do is the manager is going to start talking to this customer and get the details. So we're going to start with an order and we're going to choose a customer. Now the customers have been set up as assets in this case, and I'm going to choose one for Glendale Hardware. So let's say a representative from Glendale Hardware comes in and starts describing this task to me. Turns out that he wants a metal picnic table. Okay. And I'm going to assign it to myself. But before I do, I'm going to start adding all the steps that are involved. So the first thing we're going to have to do is I'm going to draw up what this table looks like. Maybe the customer gives me some files, so I'm actually going to upload that. So review drawings, and then I can attach images here, and I'm just going to click on upload, and let's find out where that is. So now if I were doing this from my phone, I could just snap a picture from it, or if I've downloaded it on my computer, I can do the process that you just saw here. But now I've put those drawings there, and if you want to see those drawings real quick, I'm going to select test this task so you can see what that drawing looks like of the table. Alright, so that's what the customer described to me, and after describing this task, I start putting in the instructions that my team needs to do. So the first step is going to be I'm going to have them cut the steel, and then I'm going to create a different task for measure and drill holes, and then I'll do a separate step for maybe we'll go and we'll send this to get powder coated. And then lastly, we'll do an assembly. Okay, so now I've created the instructions for that task, I've assigned it to myself, and I'm just going to click start. Okay, so I've done my part of the task, which is getting that from the customer, and so I'm going to log some time here, and let's say that I spent 25 minutes discussing this with the customer. I record that time, and now I'm done with my part of the task. So here is where I would assign the next step to someone else. Let's say that Sam is the next person in line. He's the one that usually does our cutting, and so I'm going to drop this under Sam's name. And now that Sam has it under his name, what's going to happen is Sam's going to receive a notification either on his phone through a push notification or in an email, or he can actually receive both depending on how you have the settings in Limbo. And Sam's going to know that he needs to do this work. So let's pretend that I am Sam and this is my phone. And so you can see my phone here. This is the Limbo app. And of course it's just on my computer screen, but it's just to represent what it would look like on the phone. So now that I've done this, I can actually go and open these tasks, and I see that, I have a task to do, metal picnic table. Okay, so I better review these drawings now that I'm Sam, and I'm going to cut the steel, and let's say that Sam also is the guy who's going to measure and drill the holes. So I do that, and then I'm going to log my time. So let's say I spent maybe an hour and 45 minutes here. And I'm going to record that time. So now that Sam has done his task, then Sam can also move this task onto the next person. So Luke is the guy who usually takes care of all of our stuff when it comes to sending it out to be powder coated. So I'm just going to drop this under Luke's name, and Luke's going to receive a notification as well that it's time to take this to be powder coated. And hopefully there's some instructions that the manager put down for Sam to do that powder coating and how that needs to be done. So if I were logging in as Luke, then of course I would be back at the main screen of this app, and again I would see the task showing up under my name, and I could start working on it, and I could go do that powder coat. And let's say that during the powder coat I realized that I want to attach the cost of the powder coating to this, so I would submit an invoice. And here I would say, the powder coating cost us, let's see, probably $175 even, and I could describe this is powder coating, and I could even attach an invoice from the company that did the powder coating. And if I was using my phone, I could just do this from a photo. But since I don't have my phone, I'm using my laptop here, I can just upload it from my computer. So we'll just say that this is the invoice from the powder coating, and I add it. And then it gives me an option to add additional invoices. In this case, I'm only going to do one, so I'm going to close out here. And this is a step that I should have shown earlier, and this is probably one that Sam would have done, and that's add parts. So Sam should have logged the parts that he's used for this table. So I'm going to put in part here, and we'll say that he used one of these steel plates. So I selected that. Now you can see at the top of this task there's a steel plate there, and an additional thing, maybe there's some steel rod, so let's type in here, we'll use some of the steel bar instead of the rod, and I'm going to select this one here, I add that, and then I'm going to increase this. Instead of just one, I'll say that there's multiple. Now if you notice, there was a little exclamation point that showed up here. What that means is I don't have enough in inventory to complete this out. And so that's one of the features of Limbo. Okay, going back to saying that I'm Luke, I'm going to record my time here, and I'm going to do this for another, let's say, for that powder coating, with the drive time and everything. I spent 2 hours on this, so I'm going to record that time. Okay, and then this is where Luke can go and assign this to the next person. And let's say, for this example, that the person who does our assembly is myself. So I go back in and I put it under, so Luke's going to go in, put it under my name. Now I get notified it's time for me to finish off this task. And here's where I could go in, and instead of doing it from the app this time, I'm just going to do it from my computer. And it says, okay, I need to do my assembly. I do that. I'm going to log some more time. Even though I did time at the beginning, I'm going to show that I did some assembly time. And we'll say I just did 45 minutes on this task. So I put in my 45 minutes here, I record that, and then everything looks good, everybody has their time. Now, one thing that I want you to notice about the time is that it just shows my name for all of this, and that's because I'm using a single account. Of course, when this is done by other people, it'll show their names. So anyway, I'm going to complete this task out. And I can put any notes on here if I'd like, but in this case I'm just going to hit complete. And it's just going to ask me to verify, hey, just want to make sure that all the times here are correct, that you put the right number of parts in here. But I'm going to select complete, and we are done. Now, because this was done for a customer, and that customer is an asset, I can go into that customer, and I'm going to go to Glendale Hardware, and I can actually look on the log and see all the past tasks that were done for them, and you can see here that there's a task. And so if I want to give a printout of this to that company, all I have to do is click the share button, and I'm going to hit print. In this case, I'm going to make a PDF copy, and so I'm not going to choose a printer here, rather I'm going to change this to just create a PDF. So I'm going to hit save as a PDF, but here you can see the task. There's my contact information, there's our logo, and you can see everything that was done. You can see who did what and how much time they spent. Of course, like I said before, it's just showing my name at the moment. And it has the parts that were used, the cost that was associated with those parts, and everything else is here. And so that is how Limbo can be used to do a custom fabrication shop.